ended this dream run, and by dream run I mean it was 3 straight wins. But here we are back in pack therapy. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes postgame show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah Merrill here with Steve Peters. Craig will be calling in from New Jersey at some point this evening, from a undisclosed location that he might not even know yet. But Petey, they're back to their losing ways.
It's tough. Honestly, what I thought is this looked like a tired hockey team.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to play that hard every night on the road. They've got 3 wins on this road trip, was more than we predicted.
Yeah.
From the start of it, probably more than I predicted in the first 14 of this whole trip. They just look tired tonight. Jersey is one of the fastest teams in the National Hockey League. They're unbelievably quick up the ice between the blue lines, especially. They were able to turn over pucks and get their wheels going, and the Coyotes just looked a step behind. And the biggest thing you can look at and shows that they're really behind is all the penalties they took.
Oh my gosh, the penalties.
And that shows a slower team that doesn't have the puck.
I mean, the penalties were unbelievable. They had 8 of them. 8. New Jersey had 8. Actually, they might have had more than 8, to be honest. They had 8. New Jersey had 8 power plays.
They had 9 because they had the coincidentals with O'Brien.
Yeah, so 9. Like, you just can't take that many penalties and expect to win games. You just can't. And lucky for them, New Jersey was only 1 for 8 on the power play. But that's lucky, because you can't expect to come out of a game alive like that. Frankly, the fact that it was only a 4-2 game, and someone in the Discord said it earlier, with all the penalties, with all the neutral zone turnovers, it was a surprise that it wasn't more of a...
It could have been. It could have been much worse, because that Jersey Devil power play, they zipped the puck around pretty well, but they kept looking... We've said this about other teams. They kept looking for that perfect play or that perfect pass. They probably made 1 or 2 extra passes on the power play, where they should have put more pucks on net, because we've seen from the Coyotes the best way to be successful on the power play is to get the puck to the net. And I thought Jersey probably passed up some shots. They were trying to look for the next better play. And you know what? They just missed a few of those nets. They missed, 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s where they were buzzing up the ice and they just lost the puck. This could have been worse than 4-2. I thought Vejmelka was good and made some big saves when he needed to. Yeah. But the team overall didn't have that same jump that they've had over this last week in New York. Yeah,
no, they did not. Well, let's look at the rest of the numbers too while we're talking about the numbers, because we already talked about the 8 power plays that New Jersey had. But the Coyotes, PD, their power play stays in fuego, which we'll talk about more in a second here. 2 for 4 on the power play tonight. That's 50%. That's math I can do. Yeah. But again, look at the shots on goal. Even for New Jersey, only 26 shots. But the Coyotes had 18 shots on goal. On average, here's more easy math for me. That's 6 shots on average a period. That's just, again, not good enough. Both of New Jersey's goalies are injured. They had their, next guys up, I guess, if you will. 18 shots on goal, not going to get it done. And then shot attempts. This is a number we've been calling attention to a bit more this season. New Jersey, 57 shot attempts to the Coyotes, 34.
Yeah, there's so many things wrong here. and you start with the 18 shots on goal. It's the lowest shot on goal total for the season. For
they had
this
4
team.
shots in the second period.
Yeah, again, we talked about getting pucks to the net, and when you're struggling to get shots, you just got to throw pucks to the net. And it goes back to they didn't have the puck. And when you don't have the puck, you take penalties. And when you take penalties, you don't have the puck even more. Yeah. And so I'm not surprised they ended up with 18. And again, let's put this all in perspective. They won their last 3 games on this trip. They're 3 out of 4 right now. This is okay.
Yeah, we're just like...
Yeah, they look tired, and it's okay to be tired.
Coming down from it too, I think, a little
Exactly.
bit.
So the 18 and the 8 penalties, 8 power plays against is the most they've had all season too. So those 2 numbers are the ones that really show what happened in this game. They just didn't have the puck enough. No. Their power play did it again, though. And they go 2 for 4. Edmonton goes 1 for 5. They're chasing Edmonton at 2. This is going to be close again, though. That math gets hard because we're 14 games in, so I can't do that math.
No.
But they're going to tighten the gap between them and the Edmonton Oilers by tomorrow morning. They're going to be no worse than third, closing in on second. And to say that 14 games in, and we talked about it, their penalty kill is going to be what? Or power play is going to be 29%?
It is 29.
29.6% is going to be over 30%. And a year ago, it was 9%.
Yeah. So actually, shall we pull that up?
Yeah, let's pull that.
So we tweeted this out before the game, and it's a comparison to the Coyotes. And this is this game. Pre-tonight. So this is through 13 games.
Actually, though, they still have 6 wins and 13 points. Yeah, the power play will actually go up.
It's still pretty accurate. But through 13 games this season, the 22-23 Coyotes, 6 wins, 13 points, 29.6% power play, which we just said is going to go up. This team last year, through the same number of games, 1 win, 3 points. The power play, 9.7%.
Yeah.
9.7.
They're scoring they're scoring on 1 of every 3 now. They're scoring on 1 out of every 10 last year. And the difference of points, a 10-point difference between last year and this year, 10 points is massive. The problem is when you're talking about a rebuild and a tank and top pick in the draft, that 10 points is difficult to make up. Like that's a huge spread, that 10 points. And it puts you, like we said, they're in 23rd. 23rd, they're not 32nd, they're 23rd, which means there's 9 teams behind them. There's a lot of hockey left, but that 10 points is a big buffer for some of those teams that are looking at the Bedard sweepstakes. So we'll see. We'll see. I still think this team, there's a lot of things coming ahead for this team. When they play well and they play together, they're a good team and they can compete. They have to have excellent goaltending. It's got to be above average to be good. They got to be great on the power play, and their chemistry is elite. The problem is the better this team does and there's better the individual performances are, the more likely they are to have someone get traded. Thank you, CWP.
For doing the math. 31.25% power play. That's unbelievable.
Over 30%, 1 out of every 3 opportunities is
the Arizona Coyotes.
Phenomenal. And it's not Yandel and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. It's Travis Boyd and Nick Ritchie and guys and JJ Mosier.
Yeah. And
I tell you, I'm going to bring it back. It was early in the first period. We talked about, go back to that article that Craig wrote, and then I put a few pictures in, and we showed how Nick Ritchie is scoring. He's all alone in the middle of the box. I would have thought by now that teams have watched video and go, hey, Nick Ritchie's pretty good from the middle of the box. We probably should get somebody closer to him, at least a stick length to him. Happened again tonight. He's all alone. He turns around and shoots. He didn't score because it was a great save by the goalie. But again, I don't know how. Maybe it's because they're busy watching Zibanejad and Stamkos and Ovechkin that they're not watching the Coyotes power play. Because I would get somebody in the middle of the box right away and get somebody on Ritchie. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
They're leaving him all alone. And when you leave him all alone, he gets the puck. Now people go to him, and now you kick it out to somebody else. I tell you, this power play, they've got enough options, enough people scoring. You can stay in games if your power play is good enough to put points on the board.
And you know what? It doesn't always have to be pretty. You saw Dylan Guenther's goal tonight on the power play. It went off a New Jersey body, but the reason it did is because they were storming the net, and they were there, and they were shooting the puck, and they had bodies in front of the net.
Absolutely.
And yes, it went off. It wasn't Dylan Guenther's best goal he's ever going to score in the NHL, but a goal is a goal, and he'll take it. And
they don't ask how, they ask how many.
Exactly, and that started off, the success on the power play, and it tied the game at the point of the game where it was. And Ma-Calder again got another assist. And Matias Ma-Calder is now leading rookie scoring in the NHL as officially Matty Beniers is off.
Beniers did not play tonight.
Pinto did not get a point. So as of this very second, Matias Ma-Calder leads the NHL in rookie scoring. And this week, I spoke directly to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and said, we need Matias Ma-Calder Calder odds. And guess what? They answered.
And they're there.
Matias Ma-Calder has the eighth best odds to win the Calder at plus 2,500 on DraftKings. So there you go. Matias Ma-Calder, as we've been calling him.
We have to go back to August when we sat there and said, this team is going to be last. I said this team is going to be worse than they were a year ago because
they
lost Beagle, they lost
especially watching the first few games of the season too.
Veteran leadership, and then they give up these 6-2 goals, and we go, okay, this is going to be. We're sitting here at November 12th with the rookie leading scorer right now, third, potentially getting close to second best power play in the National Hockey League. Keller is more than a point a game guy. What? Like what? What's happening with this team? They went 3 out of 4 on their New York road swing. We keep saying wagon. I don't know about a wagon because I don't know if the playoffs are realistic for this team right now. But for them to be where they are this year, is it just an absolute testament to how well they're playing together as a group? Yeah. And tonight, I know Jersey was the better team, and Jersey skated a little better, had the puck more.
And let's not forget, New Jersey was coming into tonight
8 games.
8 games, so now this was their ninth straight win. They're leading the Metropolitan Division, which has teams like the Rangers and the Penguins. We expected to be better, but it's a competitive division. They're rolling, so credit to them and credit to the Coyotes for not losing by more than 2.
Exactly. And then one of the things that the Devils have that the Coyotes want is they have very high draft picks on this team. They have 2 first overall picks. Well, that helps. And I guess if you read Craig's article today that came out about the New Jersey Devils, it's what the Coyotes hope to be 2, 3, 4 years down the road. They hope to be this. And we keep talking about the teams to compare against. It's Ottawa, Buffalo, and Jersey. These are the teams
Detroit.
And Detroit. High draft picks, sprinkling some veteran leadership, and this is what you can have. Yeah. So again, this is what Coyotes fans can hope for in the future. The speed, the skill. The future's bright. It's bright. And winning 3 out of 4 so far on this trip, I think, has been a big step forward for this group.
Yeah, and a core piece of that future who doesn't matter who they bring in, he's a part of it. That's Clayton Keller, who we've talked about, all this season so far, who has been very quiet this year, but quietly productive. Like he's not, last year he led the team in goals. He's not there yet this year, but he's a point per game guy. And Craig tweeted this tonight. He's on a 94-point pace right now, which is more than a point per game. He scored today on the power play, not just score, unlike Gunther's goal, which was kind of a, off a body. This was a beautiful, forehand, backhand in the net, kind of on the rush, by Clayton Keller, who I keep using the word quiet, but it feels quiet, but he's been really productive.
Well, it's only his 5th goal of the season, but he's got 16 points in 14 games. The one thing on that goal, and it's something that Leah and I, when we sit and watch the game, we talk about all the time, is Keller off of the rush 5-on-5, he pulls up or he stops inside the blue line looking for something else to happen. He rarely drives the net 5-on-5. Yeah. Rarely, if ever. I can't think of the last time I've seen it. So for him to do what he did on the power play where he split the middle and he did it with speed and he went up the ice and he drove right to the net to get that goal. It was a high skill goal. It was a great goal on the power play. But what that says to me is he needs to do that 5-on-5. Yeah. Like he's got to have the confidence.
He has that skill.
He does. He's got to have the confidence. And part of it might be the injury that you're a little bit shy, but he's got to get that confidence that he can go wide on a defenseman and he can drive the net 5-on-5. He needs to add that to his golf bag because it's a skill that he has to have if he wants to be an elite player or a very good player in this league. He's got to be able to drive the net. And it's something he hasn't showed 5-on-5. Power play, he did it, so we know he can. We just need to see that on 5-on-5 play because I think that's what a goal scorer does. Mm-hmm. And if he wants to be an elite goal scorer, he needs to be able to have that as part of the things that he can do. So let's hope now he's getting more confidence. Now he's got the goal. And we talk about 16 points in 14 games. If that doesn't give you confidence, I don't know what does.
Yeah, so exactly.
Let's see him continue to get better and more offensive and get more goals as the season goes on.
Absolutely. Well, that is why we are crowning Clayton Keller tonight's DraftKings king of the game with that goal. He also had 2 shots, kept the Coyotes alive in the second period where they only had 4 shots on goal, other last goal of the game. But thank goodness for this power play, PD, or this could have been a shutout if you eliminate all chances of a power play. Their 5-on-5 play hasn't been quite as, good as their power play, but at least they have that as an option. So we'll take anything we can get for the goal scoring as far as the goals go. But your boy Bukestad
I know, Bukestad, I wanted to get him king of the game again. He drove the net and missed the net by about 3 feet, but was a nice little play. It was a nice play.
Every time. Who's king of the game?
Bukestad.
No, but
drove the net.
He looked pretty good. Fischer had a breakaway chance. Today, unfortunately, Fischer's turnover was what led to a New Jersey goal. You saw O'Brien getting into it again. Yeah. Unfortunately, his penalty led to a New Jersey goal. So, we're seeing mistakes, but we're also seeing positives on the other side. It's kind of a balance, and this is good because this is what we've talked about in terms of pushing this team forward in terms of just getting better over time, not necessarily getting better to win games, but just getting better and creating better habits and better competitive mindset.
You look at their body language, and we talked about a year ago, their body language, and you'd see them sulking on the bench and down, it's 7-1, and we're getting our ass kicked, or we're getting outshot 50-10, and it was just that defeatist attitude. Now, it's like, we're close. We get another power play, we're back in this, and I think that's what this power play has done. It gives them hope in a game that, hey, if we get on the power play, we're going to get one, and if we get one, we're right back in this. And I think that there's more of a, I didn't feel like they got pushed around. I think Jersey was faster and better and more scoring attempts, all of that. Mm-hmm. But I still don't think the Coyotes ever at any point, right up to the final buzzer, looked like they gave up. No. Like they work hard.
You even saw it at the end, like players diving to block empty net goals.
Yeah.
Like literally in front of the net, taking pucks just to avoid. Yeah. They already knew they were probably going to lose, but just, preventing that. There's definitely that compete. And that's still there.
And so that's what we want to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you see that kind of an effort, you go, okay, this is a team that's not learning how to lose. We talk about that a lot in a rebuild. You don't want to learn how to lose. No. This team doesn't do that. I think they've taken a big stride from where they were a year ago. I know, again, hate to say this, hope not too big of a stride, because the top three players in this draft, the two of them for sure are franchise changing that could set the course of this team for the next decade. So you'd still like to see them have some bumps in the road, and I think they will. But it is good to know as a fan, you can watch this team and go, you know what? We got a chance. And against good teams too. Yeah. Tomorrow, and here we talk about being tired. And as this trip wears on, you get tired. And I think the concern now is now they're playing back-to-back, and they're going to Madison Square Garden. One thing the Madison Square Garden does is it brings out the best in players. They play hard. Madison Square Garden's got a lot of juice. The building is exciting. So guys come prepared. They get up for that game. But this is the last game before they come home.
Yep. So they'll be excited, I think. And I know we talk about it. It's a 14-game road trip, but this is the 5-game swing of it. They're going to be home for a couple of days. So we'll see. But if you've been betting on the Coyotes on this road trip, you've probably won yourself some money. They've been underdogs in every single game, but unfortunately they didn't get it done tonight. But if a good bet, I would say going forward, is Clayton Keller over half a point a game. Like at this point, if you're looking maybe not to do the money line or the puck line, look at the player props, because some of these Coyotes players have been really successful. Mosier, there's a lot of ways you can win.
Well, and you go that long-term Michelli pick too.
That's true.
The odds are there now.
Plus 2,500 on DraftKings. So check out DraftKings if you're a new customer and you sign up right now. You can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 if your team wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook. Use the promo code PHNX. That's code PHNX on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details. And really quickly, before we bring in Craig, Sean, what is your DraftKings pick of the week?
Well, it was going to actually be Coyotes money line for tomorrow, but Halak is playing for the Rangers right now, which means we most likely will get Shesterkin. So I'm not going to bet on the Coyotes in that instance. So I'm going to go back to the NFL. Also staying away from my Buffalo Bills for once, because last
week go well last
didn't
weekend.
Go well, and now our quarterback's hurt, so I don't know what that's going to look like. So I'm going to go with Petey's Chiefs.
Ooh.
They're minus 8.5, which I like, but my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week is going to be the over 51 points in the Kansas City Chiefs Jacksonville Jaguars game. I think both these teams put up points, and that hits relatively easily.
Let's go,
so my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week is over 51.
Shane just yelled.
Shane's
like
opinion is not important here.
Well, this is Sean's pick of the week, so if you want to go with Shane, if you want to go with Sean, do so on DraftKings, and we'll see what happens, and then you can angrily tweet at one or the other. But without further ado, because I know he's on a limited time.
Oh yeah, we better get to him.
Welcome in Craig. Everyone was. Ooh, where are you? A locker room?
I'm in a locker room. I'm going back.
Are you
to
in the locker room?
I'm in one of the ones right across from the Coyotes locker room because I don't want to miss when they're walking out.
I thought you might have been in the Coyote. Maybe they called on you late to kill a penalty because they were all so tired.
Craig, people were in the chat were saying, "Oh, where's Craig?" And then someone said he's in the penalty box.
That's actually funny.
Yeah, penalties were part of the story. I'm sure you guys have talked about this, although the one on Nick Ritchie was a terrible call. I actually chatted with Nick for just a second before we talked to Clayton Keller, and Nick said they even changed the call on the penalty because they realized it was such a bad call. It was Miles Wood's stick that hit the goalie. He didn't even feel like he had call. Fortunately, it didn't cost them, but overall, they took a lot of penalties and never rely on NHL stats ever again, because I just looked at the stat sheet and it said the Coyotes had 3 giveaways in this game. I don't know what the guys up in the NHL stats crew in the booth were doing tonight, but they missed a lot because they turned the puck over a lot tonight.
Yeah, and that's one of the things too. You look at the news zone. I didn't look at that stat either, Craig. They're both teams credited with 3 giveaways. Come on, like that. The Coyotes did that on one play, coming up through between the blue lines. So that was one of the issues for sure. Was turnovers a little more, but again, they won 3 out of 4 through this New York swing. So we're okay.
Yeah.
We're not
right.
No, this is fine. We needed to cool the Jets a little bit too.
It's okay, and it's back-to-back games. This is going to be tough. I saw Karen saying here that they're coming home after the game, so there's going to be a little spring in their step coming in MSG tomorrow because they're coming home. I'm telling you.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to see Laurent Dauphin in the lineup tomorrow. I think Connor Ingram's probably going to be in goal tomorrow. There'll be some changes, but other than that, yeah, you're right. It's already been a good road trip. If they can come with a good effort at MSG, no matter what happens on a back-to-back, they've had a good road trip. And like you said, Leah, need to get back on track because we all know the real goal here.
Come on, Coyotes, get back on track. Yeah, poor Laurent Dauphin, maybe not poor, just got a trip to New York.
All expense paid trip.
They
win a trip
with
the Coyotes.
They don't want to, mix up the winning lineup. So, tonight you'd think, especially on a back-to-back, they're going to go with Ingram, like you said, and maybe Dauphin will get to be in the lineup. But Craig, who did you speak with tonight, and what did they have to say?
Got to talk to Clayton Keller. He was the only player that we actually talked to other than Coach Andre Tourigny. But reiterating the same things. The penalties hurt them. They thought they had a good start, and I agreed with him there. They did come out and they looked like they were competing early in this game. They got a little bit out of their rhythm. The turnovers forced them, as Andre said, to expend so much energy just defending, and those things together hurt them. And then I know you talked about it before the game, Petey, but man, when you're in the arena, New Jersey speed really pops through the neutral zone, through middle ice. They are a fast team.
Yeah, they really are. So I feel like we've talked about everything in this game already. So Craig, I have a couple questions for you about your New York trip as a whole, since we had so much to talk about Tempe the other day. We didn't really get to ask you about it, but you actually had the chance to tour the NHL office on Thursday. Did you see Gary Bettman, and did you present your long list of suggestions?
Gary found out I was coming, so he left town.
Just like the city council plans their meetings around you being out of town.
Yeah, he went to Florida, I guess. I'm told that he's on vacation, actually, with his family, although the people in the office say that Gary actually never takes vacations. He works while he's on vacation. But I did sit in on Bill Daley's office for a little while, and we chatted for a bit. So I got to see the bigwigs' offices. More importantly, that office, I can't believe I haven't done this. I know they've only been in this office for a little over a year, but I've never toured the NHL's offices in New York before, and I feel like an idiot for not doing it because they're unbelievable. And as I said, I'm going to have a story on this. I took some of my expert photographs as well, so people will enjoy, my skills on that front. They're not good. I'm actually asking.
Hey, last time you took video, it went viral, Craig.
Yeah, that was for a different reason. It definitely wasn't because of my ability.
I'm just thinking of Gary and Bill sitting at the coffee machine, and they're drinking. Oh, another great day at the office. Oh, shit, Craig Morgan's here. Craig Morgan's here? Oh, shit, tell him I'm on vacation in Florida. And he just running down the hall. Gary Bettman leaving. Bill, you deal with him. No, I'm just teasing you, Craig. Because he didn't want to have to face that long list of suggestions from Craig S. Morgan.
Oh my gosh.
All I wanted to talk to him about was the statue.
The statue of Bettman.
Yeah, exactly. But,
And your conference and division realignment plan.
Yeah, I was going to drop that later after I looked at the statue.
Also, this comment from Nicholas is really funny. Locker room Craig looks small compared to the spacious vaulted ceilings of the away locker room at the mullet.
Yeah. Poverty franchise.
This is auxiliary locker room here. I want to make that clear at the Prudential Center, the Rock as it's called. This is not a team locker room for either the Devils or the Coyotes. This is just an extra one.
And Craig, speaking of locker rooms and arenas, we briefly touched on it the other night when the Coyotes were at UBS Center. You also got to tour that as well. You mentioned a little bit about it, but for those, you wrote a story about it on gophnx.com, so definitely check that out. But that's kind of a model. Actually, both of your stories this week were about the Islanders arena being a model for the Coyotes to follow, and same with the blueprint for the New Jersey Devils in their rebuild. So what can you tell us about UBS Center, and maybe just some things just from your perspective alone that you think the Coyotes could adapt for the TED?
Well, first of all, for fans going to UBS Arena, pack water because it takes forever to get there. I drove from Manhattan. I left at 2:30 and it took me an hour, 40 minutes. Apparently, the Coyotes had the same experience going out there. You have to go through the gut of Queens. There's not a good way to get there. It is brutal. I would not be surprised if nobody from Manhattan goes to Islanders games because, wow, it's brutal. Anyway, aside from that, the arena is beautiful. It's just freaking beautiful. Their team shop is the biggest team shop I've ever seen. I literally felt like I was walking into a Ralph Lauren store. There's like deep wood antique tables. There's custom shops where you can build your own jerseys or hats, it was crazy. And then they have all these amazing gathering spaces for the fans, including this terrace that overlooks Belmont Park. Something that Javier Gutierrez said to me a while ago really stuck with me as I was touring that place. He said, with arenas, it's not just about the seats anymore. Fans want places, they want spaces to gather in. It's experiential. And when you go to UBS, you understand that's where things are going now with new arenas. I'm sure that the Coyotes got a good look at this, as well as some of the other new arenas here and in other sports. And who knows, maybe they toured Europe as well, because that's what the Islanders did. I'm sure they're taking a lot of the best pointers from these places and thinking about incorporating some of them into their own arena, if it gets approved, of course, by referendum in May.
Yeah. Isn't UBS the one that there's like 13 different bars?
Yeah. There's a lot of places to hang out, and they're really cool spaces. Even the suites, like they have the event level suites. Those are all amazing, and everything's modeled. It feels like it feels old timey, and they tried to do that. They tried to make it mimic Belmont Park in a way to capture the history of the region and the track. So they really succeeded, in my opinion. It's a beautiful place. Although I will say that the press box, you guys probably got this when I was on camera the other night. It's a bit high and the angle isn't quite right. So, when the cameras, I think, are looking at too many rafters, they're having a hard time seeing the scoreboard. And when I was sitting in the press box and my laptop was open in front of me, I had to, part of this is because I'm height challenged, but I had to raise myself up a bit to see the ice.
Yeah. It's not quite the 14th row like you get at Mullet, Craig. You're now spoiled by the 14th row, and now you're hanging from the rafters. In these press boxes in New York. PD, do you have any other questions for Craig?
No, I just want to make sure Craig catches the bus. Because he'll be in big trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Should
don't
I
want...
tell a tale from the road before I go, PD?
Yeah, tell a tale from the road.
You remember Buffalo when the Diamondbacks were in the World Series? I was in the press room and I had finished writing my story. I was there with Timmy Tyers, who you know from AZ Central.
Yep.
And Timmy says, "Oh no, we still got like 15 minutes before the buses leave." So we're watching the Diamond World Series. BK Kim blowing another save at Yankee Stadium. I peek my head out the door. I don't know if you remember where the press room was down there, Petey, but there's a hallway to the left. There's a door with a little glass window. And what do I see going past in the glass window? The Coyotes bus. It's already left. So we missed it. Timmy and I got in a cab back in the days before Uber. Before they had the type of security that they have these days. We somehow got onto the tarmac of the executive terminal in a cab. In a cab. They drove us right out into the tarmac. We get out, and there's Bobby Francis standing at the top of the stairs to the plane, tapping his foot, saying, Where's my $10,000, boys?
Where's your fine money? Where
That's
is
like
the fine?
when you woke up in the hotel.
Yeah, and I had missed the bus. It's the worst feeling in the world. It's absolutely misery.
Oh,
well, Craig,
man.
don't miss the bus tonight. Get to the Rangers safely, and we get to do it all over again in less than 24 hours.
All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow.
Yep.
Travel
Bye,
safe.
Craig. Thank you. Definitely check out Craig's stories on gophnx.com. Like I said, he published one today about the New Jersey Devils blueprint for their rebuild and the impact that Ray Shero had. And, we're kind of seeing that come to fruition now with the Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier and those top end picks now successful on this team. So he wrote about that. He also wrote about UBS Arena, of course, which we just touched on. So check those out at gophnx.com. You can read those by becoming a member. Lots of perks to becoming a member. More to come on some new member benefits coming soon. But when you sign up for an annual membership, grab a shirt from the PHNX locker. Check it out. The holidays are right around the corner. If you need gifts for people, the PHNX locker, all the sports fans in your lives, there's also gift cards in there. So check it out. Petey loves this one. I actually
It's my favorite.
It's all the letters from all of the fonts from the different Arizona teams. So check out the PHNX locker. Like I said, holiday season's right around the corner. You can click the link in our description to head straight to the source. And also, I'm drinking my favorite peach golden ale, 4 Peaks beer right now. Just the other day got me through the stress of the Tempe meeting and celebrated a win. Now, getting through this loss. Great for every occasion. Check out 4 Peaks. Get it wherever you buy your beer, which is a lot of places here in Arizona. And if you've never been to the 8th Street Pub, check that out as well. The 8th Street Pub is going to host all of the U.S. and Mexico World Cup matches. So check that out. That's just a couple weeks away. I can't believe it. It's going to be super fun. There's going to be beer specials, giveaways, guest appearances, $3 kit lifter, and Wow Wheat Pints, which is like our, the wow and the kit lifter. It's like you and Craig, your favorites. So check that out. You can register in the link in our show notes. It's a free event, and to drink 4 Peaks, you must be 21 or older and enjoy responsibly. People have been asking about, first of all, Petey, need PHNX branded socks in the locker room for
I know.
Petey has literally the other day he wore socks on purpose, but we had a close-up shot on us so you didn't see, and now he's not wearing
and I had really cool socks. I had colored socks with little houses on them.
I know. And then Nicholas said, is there a new PHNX Coyote shirt coming soon? Love a boy howdy. I would love a boy howdy shirt.
Boy howdy.
We've been brainstorming shirt ideas in the Discord, so that's another perk to becoming a member. Join our Discord, and we can come up with some new Coyote shirt ideas, because I would love
I'm ready. Yeah.
I would love a new one. I really would. Petey, one part of this game we didn't go over quite yet, and we'll do this now, was your keys.
Keys to the game.
And I made sure to get them out early today because I know Andre Turin, you pulled
I know,
because
they were before pregame. They wanted to go look through them.
But we've talked a lot about some of these points, but I'll let you.
Don't rush. Don't rush. The New Jersey speed, absolutely evident from the drop of the puck. This is an incredibly fast hockey team. They're young, they're small, they're quick, they're fast. And you have to stop them on the odd man rushes. And I thought that they were able to show their speed. And of the 4, I thought 1 was off the rush, 1 off the forecheck, 1 off the power play. So for the most part, the Coyotes did a decent job on the rush, although the New Jersey Devils were able to show their speed through the blue line. Shots fired. Oh, boy. Second most shots in the league. They didn't get a lot of shots on goal against the Coyotes tonight, but we saw what the Coyotes able to get 18. That's not enough. No. You're not going to win with 18 shots on goal. And the first period, they were down 2-1. So they are now 0-6 when trailing after the first period.
Yeah, that's just not going to do it. But at least they weren't losing the first period by a lot like we've seen many times this season. So again, it's those micro improvements that we're looking for, combined with some losses, is what we would like to start seeing again. I know people are getting caught up in the excitement of the winning, but when you look at teams like New Jersey and you think about, the blueprint for the future, Jack Hughes is a first overall pick. Nico Hischier is, I think, a second overall pick?
Overall.
Oh, first. So you need that to be successful. The Coyotes haven't had that. They need that. That's the only way they're going to follow in the footsteps of these teams that we've been talking about and comparing them to. And I know it's fun to get, caught up in their success now. And we're happy with the success now. Maybe it's the reverse of last year. Remember, we saw that stretch in March when they went to the East and won all those games. But maybe it's just happening now to start. And you know what? What this is going to do is raise the trade value for a lot of players. We've talked about Nick Ritchie. We've talked about the other night we were even throwing Veggie into the mix. Shane Gostisbehere at the beginning of the season. So if they're going to be successful like this, it's just going to raise everyone's value so that when they do get traded away, and when you trade the best players away, the team's going to lose again. Hopefully, I know this sounds horrible to say, but just hopefully falls to the bottom 3 teams in the league so they can contend for that first overall pick, because that's what we want. It's all about the future, and grab some more draft assets along the way. And who knows, we might one day do a trade talk Tuesday and say, well, when they traded Nick Ritchie for this pick and this pick turned into blank, and we'll say, really, like that came from there. So that's
and that guy helped them win the cup. And there's still, they get the loss in it, but there's still some positive things to look for from tonight. We talk about guys streaking. The team had a 3-game winning streak, but Keller's on a 4-game point streak. On that same goal, Boyd gets an assist. Boyd's on a 4-game point streak. The second assist was to Mosier, and he's on a 3-game point streak. So 3 of the 4 players that had point streaks kept them alive. Hayton, unfortunately, didn't get a point tonight. And we talked about Hayton going no points in his first 8. He got points in his next 3. So there are some positives on the offensive side of the puck. This is a team that has struggled to score goals, and through 14 games, still the only team in the National Hockey League that's got 2 goals in every game this season.
I cannot. There's just a few stat lines that I can't believe. That's one. The power play is one.
Yep.
Like,
the only team in the National Hockey League that has scored 2 or more goals in every single game to start the season is the Arizona Coyotes.
And the fact that they won 3 on this road trip, and they had before this game won 4 in a row on the road. Like, that's just not what we expected to see. It's not going to get any easier from here. We talked about going into Madison Square Garden tomorrow night. That's a tough environment. And then Vegas later in the week. Can we actually pull up the upcoming schedule while we're talking about the games ahead? Luckily for the Coyotes, they'll have a little bit of a break here. Go home Sunday night after the game against the Rangers, and then right back out on the road, at least a little bit closer, Vegas. But Vegas has been a really good team, and it's not going to get any easier from here.
Yeah, and you look at that break coming home is going to be big for them. Absolutely no question about it. But if you realize how quick that is, because right now we saw Craig is at the arena right now. So you got to think when they fly to New York tomorrow, they're not flying till they'll get their flight between 11 o'clock and midnight New York time. Fly all the way back here. That's a long flight.
Yeah, it's like 5 hours.
You're going to sleep that whole day. Monday, it's going to be kind of a wasted day. Tuesday, you'll go to practice. Wednesday, you practice and leave. And next thing you know, you're going to wake up in Vegas against the best team in the Western Conference. So this trip is going to get difficult. It is going to get very hard.
Can we pull up the full road trip while we're talking about it?
Yeah, because after Vegas, they're heading back. They head back to the East Coast. They go back to the East. Don't they go Detroit after that? 6, 7.
Nashville, Carolina, Detroit.
Nashville, Carolina, Detroit. So they're heading back east again.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
They'll come home after Vegas for another day, but then they're going to head out to another Eastern road trip. This is really, really
Carolina,
hard.
Detroit, Minnesota, then probably come back for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Or wait, Thanksgiving's in between there. They'll be on the road. Come back for a few days, and then at least they're out just on the west.
Yep, then they'll go LA, Vancouver. But those stops at home are great. You do your laundry, wash your underwear, get a nap in your own bed, and then go. This team, I'm really worried where they're going to be by game 14 of this trip. It's going to be very, very difficult. So let's take the little wins when we can. Let's take the little positives while we can and see where this thing ends up.
And to have this start right now and to like if they lose out on the rest of this road trip, to win 3 games that we didn't expect them to win. Alex said, all right, who made our schedule? Alex, I promise you there's a reason. It's so that people wouldn't roast the mullet
arena anymore,
temporary locker rooms any more than they did for those 4 games. But the annex is almost complete. It's expected to be done next month, and then when the Coyotes are back home starting December 9th, it'll be done. And you know what? All these road games, they still have to play 41 at home. Yep. So those games will come. They'll get their stretches at home. And maybe it'll come in the second half of the season, which we imagine to be a little bit challenging, especially if they do trade away a lot of those players. So we'll see. That's what's ahead. I feel like Petey and it hasn't been just me and Petey in a long time. Like it's been us and Craig, or we've been at home. Like this feels good.
Yeah, kind of normal. Kind of like the days back in Studio B in the basement.
We were
DP's over there. DP's like he's had a hard day of college football today.
Yeah.
Wearing on him.
But earlier, because the ASU guys are here and we're here for their game, and Totri was sitting in my chair earlier, and I said something, and he got up and moved my chair. Of course, the recliners,
the more furniture chairs,
because Petey and I have our designated chairs.
If we're watching hockey, we have.
And Petey was charging his phone because you can do that on those recliners, and now we're sitting in these very comfortable chairs. And that's thanks to more furniture. So if you like these chairs, if you've seen pictures online of our nice recliners, which seriously, there's no better way to watch.
Unreal.
We had hockey, we had UFC, and we had college football.
I'm all about the UFC. Everybody knows me well, knows I love my
Petey
UFC.
was live betting UFC tonight on DraftKings, though. Just saying. Just saying. So check out more furniture if you're looking to redecorate. It's the holiday season. You can even, give someone the gift of new furniture or a gift card. You can spruce up your home during Moore's Furniture fall sale at morefurniture.com, and you'll receive a $100 gift card for every $1,000 you spend right now at More. And I know the Coyotes are a long way off from playing at home, but plenty of events to keep you entertained in the meantime. ASU hockey was home this weekend. They'll be back again.
They
swept Alaska Anchorage 3-0 tonight, 5-2 last night. Amazing. Talk about a wagon of a team. That's 20. A team you can go see right now. I mean, not next weekend, but when they come back that Thanksgiving weekend. Logan Cooley is coming into town.
Matthew Nyes.
You want that Coyotes tie-in.
Number one team in the country.
See a game at Mullet if you haven't already.
Golden Gophers.
I'm telling you, check out Game Time. The best place to buy tickets for the Coyotes, for ASU hockey, for Suns, for Cardinals, any event you can think of. Concerts, shows. Elton John's down the road right now. Think we could go sneak in when we're done here?
Yeah.
No, maybe I'll check Game Time. They do encourage buying last minute. I'm telling you. So check out Game Time. You can save up to 60% when you buy last minute. And the best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in our description. So scroll down and click. Let us know when you buy. I love hearing everybody's success stories buying tickets on Game Time. I want to talk about next week. There's only 2 Coyotes games, so we are going to have a regular live show. And we thought, we haven't done like a regular live show in a while. Let's call in the big guns. Let's get a guest. And we're really excited about our guests on Monday. Petey. It's a good friend of yours.
Well, because he can talk about a lot of things.
Yep.
And the team's heading to Vegas, so we thought we'd get somebody that actually lives in Vegas and knows a little bit about hockey. So Rick Tocchet is coming in live on the show Monday from Vegas. Really excited to have him. He's dialed into all around the NHL. There's a lot of stuff going on to ask him about. And like you said, he has a pulse on Vegas. So we get to talk to him about, the NHL season so far and what we can expect for that game next Thursday. So really excited to have Rick Tocchet join us Monday at 11 a.m. on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a show go live. Petey, he's fun. He's a fun guest. And if people missed the last time he was on, he's a fun guy to have around. Good stories, too. So it's going to be fun. You'll have to, looking forward to it Monday. You'll have to think about it again and queue up some more good stories. I'll have something. Definitely going to be a good one. Petey, do you have any final thoughts from tonight? I just want to get to, I know the team lost. And you still look, when you walk away from game 14, you've got the leading rookie scorer in the National Hockey League. You've got Clayton Keller over a point a game. You've got the third best power play, and you've won 3 games on a very difficult 4-game trip to the East Coast. 5 games. Well, right now it's 4, so 3 out of 4. So even if they only win 3. Right. So things are okay. So there's a lot of positives. We say it every day on the rebuild. Take those little wins, and the little things are going to get you through this season. Things are okay. Yep, things are okay. And you know what? We'll make it through the whole season together. Let's pull up the punch card. I didn't pull up the punch card on Thursday. Shoot. I was so distracted by Tempe. But let's see where we are now. Where's punch card voodoo? So we got loss, 3 in a row. Win, loss. We see what the clear pattern is set up for here. 3 straight wins and then another loss. Yep. So Rangers. Hammer. Vegas. I'm just saying. Yep. Hammer. Money line the next 3 games. Yep. Woo. Wagon. Hammer the punch card magic
wagon
tomorrow in the Rangers.
I will always.
I actually might do that. I might take Coyotes money line, voodoo magic.
It's worked for Sean before.
I like it.
I'm telling you. So that's what we got. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in the chat. If you're watching live, if you're watching this later, like this video. If you're listening on audio, like, subscribe, leave us a review. We appreciate it. You can follow each of us on Twitter at @SPetersHockey, at Leah Merrill. Follow Craig at Craig S. Morgan for all the on-the-ground updates. He's there. He'll be at Madison Square Garden tomorrow. Sean, you can follow him at Sean_DePaz. Follow PHNX Sports across all social platforms. We have a ton of shows tomorrow, by the way, too. Cardinals, Sun Devils basketball, us. So check out PHNX Sports on YouTube as well. And then follow us on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. Tons of fun there every single day.
DP too.
What? I'm just.
The comment says ripped jeans for fashion. I'm wearing ripped jeans right now.
Sorry,
You're wearing ripped jeans.
Yeah, Sean is also wearing ripped jeans for fashion. This hole is a little smaller than the one on Thursday. I was getting a little bit roasted in the chat. But you know what? We live in Arizona. I don't need to. It's warm. It's fine. We'll all be fine. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We'll be live again tomorrow night after the Rangers game. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Saturday night, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow.